Ever wondered what's going on behind the scenes when you're chatting with ChatGPT?
Mm.
It feels almost magical, right?
Yeah.
Like you're talking to, I don't know, like a super intelligent being or something.
It can definitely feel like that.
But today we're diving deep, deep into how ChatGPT actually works.
That's right.
And trust me, it's way more mind-blowing than magic. And whether you're a total AI newbie
Uh-huh.
or you've got some tech background,
Yeah.
we're going to break it down so it's clear, fascinating, and maybe even a little bit mind-blowing. So, ready to journey into the mind of a machine.
Absolutely. And I think what's really fascinating here is that ChatGPT doesn't actually think in the way we do.
Right, it's not like sitting there like pondering the meaning of life.
Exactly. It's not contemplating existential questions or anything.
No.
What it's become incredibly good at is predicting what comes next in a sequence of words. Like, if I start a sentence, it can figure out the most likely words that would follow.
Okay, so it's like a master of prediction then,
You could do that.
based on patterns and tons of data, I'm guessing?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's unpack this.
Sure.
Let's get into like the nitty-gritty. How does it even read? Like, how does it read and understand our questions? I've heard this term thrown around, the transformer model.
Yeah, the transformer model.
Is this like robots turning into cars or something? What is that?
Not quite, although that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's all about how this model processes information. Imagine, instead of reading a sentence, like word by word, left to right,
Yeah.
you're able to consider all the words at once. And you're figuring out the relationships between them
Okay.
to really understand the meaning. And that's basically what a transformer does.
Whoa. Okay. So that's very different from how I read.
Right.
I'm definitely a word-by-word kind of person.
Uh-huh.
But so why is that attention, like, being able to see everything at once, why is that so important for ChatGPT? What does that give it?
Well, it lets the model pick up on those little nuances, the context, that you would miss if you were just reading in a straight line. Think about how we use, like, emphasis on a certain word or the order of the words to totally change the meaning of a sentence. Transformers can pick up on those subtleties.
So it's like it has like a built-in sense of grammar and syntax, kind of.
Yeah, you could think of it that way.
That's pretty cool.
But here's the real kicker. To get that good at understanding those nuances, ChatGPT has been trained on this absolutely massive amount of data.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
Books, articles, code, like anything you can imagine. It's like it's devoured the entire internet and soaked up all the patterns in human language.
It's like, what do they call that? Drinking from a fire hose?
Basically, yeah.
Wow. Does the size of that data, does that really matter? Like, is bigger always better in this case?
Absolutely, because the more data it's trained on, the better it gets at predicting what comes next in a sentence. And the more human-like its responses become. It's like the difference between learning a language from a phrase book, versus actually living in that country and being immersed in the culture.
That's a good analogy. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
So reading my question, it's got its attention superpower going on.
Right.
It's tapping into this like vast library of knowledge that it's built.
Yeah.
But then how does it go from that to actually formulating a response? Like, how does it come up with words and sentences?
So your question gets broken down into smaller pieces, and we call those tokens.
Tokens.
Tokens, yeah. Think of them as like digital building blocks of meaning.
Okay.
So for example, if you ask, what's the weather like today?
I'm out.
That might get broken into token like what? Weather like and today.
Gotcha. So each word is like a little puzzle piece, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And those pieces, they get fed into this really complex system called a neural network.
Okay.
Now imagine like a network of interconnected nodes, and each node is doing a tiny little calculation. And each layer of this network is analyzing these tokens, extracting more and more complex information, so it's building up this like deeper understanding of your question.
So it's like each layer is like a detective or something, like looking for clues in all those tokens.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good analogy. And based on all that analysis, it comes up with like what it thinks is the most probable next word in the sequence.
Okay.
And then it does it again and again and again, creating a string of words that form its response.
So it's basically like predictive text on our phones, but on a way, way grander scale.
Exactly. It's predicting word by word based on all the patterns that it's learned from all that data it's been trained on.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. But it's not perfect, right? I mean, I've seen it make some pretty weird mistakes sometimes.
Absolutely. And that's a really crucial point. While ChatGPT is incredibly sophisticated, it's still a machine learning model. it doesn't understand things the way that we do. It
Wow.
can only work with the data that it's been given. And sometimes that can lead to errors, biases, or, just plain strange outputs.
So it's important to remember, like, it's a powerful tool, but we shouldn't take everything it says as gospel truth.
Exactly. We always need to use our own judgment, our critical thinking skills.
Right. We can't just turn off our brains and let the AI do all the thinking for us.
Definitely not.
So to sum it up, ChatGPT is using this transformer model, which gives it that attention superpower to see the whole picture.
Right.
It's been trained on this massive amount of data, and it's using that to predict, word by word, the most likely response to our questions. It's pretty amazing if you think about it.
It really is. It's a testament to how far AI has come.
It is. But we also have to remember, like we said, it's not perfect.
Right.
It's a tool, a very powerful tool, but we still need to use our own brains.
Mm.
So what about the future of this technology? Where do you see this going?
That's a great question. And honestly, it's hard to predict exactly what the future holds.
Yeah, the irony.
Right. But I think it's safe to say that these language models, they're going to become even more sophisticated. They'll be able to generate even more creative and nuanced text. And they'll likely play an even bigger role in our lives.
So potentially they'll be able to do even more than they can do now. Like, what kinds of things are you thinking of?
Well, imagine AI that can help us write better code, compose music, even create entire works of art.
Whoa.
And not just that, but think about the potential for things like personalized education, where AI tutors can adapt to each student's individual learning style.
That would be amazing.
Or even healthcare, where AI can help doctors diagnose diseases more accurately.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
I mean, the possibilities really are endless.
So it sounds like, there's a lot of potential for good here. But are there also potential risks that we need to be aware of?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like any powerful technology, there's always the potential for misuse. We've got to think about things like bias in the data that these models are trained on, the potential for generating fake news or propaganda, and even the ethical implications of creating AI that can mimic human creativity.
So there are a lot of big questions to grapple with as this technology keeps advancing.
Definitely. And it's a conversation that we all need to be a part of.
So we've really gone deep on ChatGPT today.
We have.
We've explored how it uses this transformer model to understand our questions. We've talked about how it's trained on massive amounts of data and uses that to generate text. And we've even touched on some of the potential benefits and risks of this technology.
It's been a fascinating journey.
It really has. And I think it's safe to say that ChatGPT is a powerful tool,
Yes.
but it's up to us to use it responsibly and ethically.
Couldn't agree more.
So if you're as intrigued by all this as I am, I really encourage you to go out there and learn more.
Yeah, definitely.
There are tons of resources available online. Books, articles, videos, you name it. And hey, why not even strike up a conversation with ChatGPT itself? You might be surprised by what you discover.
That's a great idea. And who knows, maybe you'll even teach it something new.
That's all the time we have for our deep dive today, but hopefully this has given you a better understanding of how this amazing technology works. And maybe even spark some new ideas about how AI might shape our world in the future. So until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those big questions.
And keep chatting with those chatbots.
Thanks for listening.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.